Hey guys, welcome to a different type of video on my channel. Today, as you can see, we are back in the Spirit mod, and for today's video, we're going to be reviewing the 1.4.1 update for the Spirit mod, which I believe is how like light up the world or something. It did three main things in this update. One was an expansion to the Summoner class, adding new weapons, new accessories, and a new unique kind of tool. The second was to add a new type of melee weapon called clubs, which are very unique items that you need to charge up and release a powerful attack after releasing it. And third, they added a new event and a new boss, all based around moon jellies, with the boss being called the Moon Jelly Wizard. So yeah, that's all pretty cool. They also added a little bit of lore, they added and other stuff, and a lot of other miscellaneous bug fixes and things. But I'll be going over the three main things, some of the littler stuff, and of course the lore. So let's get right into that. Alright, so first we can take a look at the clubs. As you can see, they added in a fair amount of clubs, 11 to be exact so far, all in pre-hard mode. And I can only assume that they are working on the hard mode variants right now for the 1.4.2 update or another future one. So now, for now, we can still take a look at each one of them. As you can see, the first club we're looking at is the Wooden Club. It does 19 melee damage, and it can be made from 25 wood at a workbench. Now, as I said before, clubs work a little differently. As you can see, if you hold it up and boom, you release it, it makes a little blast radius as well when you let it go. And it's also very well made. As you can see, if there's blocks in the way, it will stop where the blocks stop. And if there's no blocks in the way, it will just go until it gets around this area right here. So for each club, we're also going to go test the DPS. I'll probably take off such as the only super overpowered things, such as the Snatcher, one of the Shadow Spirit things, and maybe turn off like a Gauntlet of the Moon or something. Next after the Wooden Club, I believe, is the Platinum and the Golden Great Hammer. So the Golden Great Hammer does 31 melee damage, and just like the Wooden Club, it just makes a little nice effect when you hit it down on the ground. And this also applies to this Platinum Scepter as well, as you can see right here. Now, as you can see, probably tell, these are variants of each other, as, you know, you can only have Platinum or Gold in one world, and not both at the same time, which makes sense, honestly. After this club, we have the Spore Breaker, which is a drop from the Snap Trapper, which I'll get to later. Now, as you can see, this might seem not as different at first, but if you take a little close look right there, when it hits the ground, it spawns a little bit of spores, and which is a very nice effect. And as it says, charged attacks release a field of toxins. Now, the next one, I believe at least, is the Fluorine Budgelin, or Bulgin. And as you can see right here, it seems to be just a normal club like the wooden one. But if we go to a ground over here to test this, boom, it causes a little effect to pop up. And for this trail of like leaf particles to come up, which I believe do damage enemies. So that's also pretty cool. After this one, at least I think, we have the Nautilobber, which is dropped in the the Jelly Deluge event, aka the Moon Jelly event, where you get the summon item for the boss and sell stuff. And if we hit this one in midair, boom, we can see that they have a little bubble effect, which is a very nice little add-on to it. And the final one that I was able to determine by myself how to get is the Blasphemer, which is made out of 25 slag. Usually if we hit this on the ground, it makes a little fire effect go up. Sometimes I think it just doesn't work. I mean, it works in midair. So if you don't have it go out and far enough, this will bang against the wall and do nothing. But if you have it go far not enough and hammer it, and or a flat surface or just the air, it creates a little pillar of fire, which is a very interesting effect. Okay, finally, for the ones I've been able to know, is the Unstable at Z. And this is one you get from, I believe, making 8 of the unstable granite material. I don't remember exactly what it's called. I think that's a thorium thing. But if we pick it up, boom, it does a little nice effect. And if we were able to hit an enemy, which it's really hard with all my buffs, it makes little granite storm particles come out and like bounce around and be able to hit over things. So yeah, so there's like a lot of these that are pretty cool, but there's some of them that I was not able to find or wasn't able to track down how to make them. And those three would be the Bone Club, the Makua Little, I don't know how to say that, and the Bass Slapper. I can assume that the Blasphemer is a fishing item. You get this from just fishing anywhere. The bone club I thought was from the dungeon, but after extensive looking, I could not find it at all in the dungeon, so who knows. However, when you do release this one, bone particles come out, which is nice. And the Makuhatul, which is another one I have no idea how to get out. But it says greatly increases armor penetration based on charge time. So if you do that, it doesn't do much. But if you do this, it's a lot of armor penetration. Anyway, so yeah, that's how you, that's some of the clubs right there. Very interesting, very interesting. And now we will go test each one individually at the armor stand. So I'll see you there. Alright, now that we're here over at the armor stand, let me just take that off for a second. Now we can go see what each of the items will do after I've, as you can see, taken off some of the buffs. So with the wooden club, let's see, about 22, a consistent 22 there, 17. Alright, and it seems to be about 7 DPS so far. So, you know, a fairly decent base weapon. Anyways, next we have the Blasphemer, which is the next in DPS wise. Alright. As you can see, that was not fully charged, that one. Fully charged, it does around, I would say, 25 to around 30 some damage. Crit with that 54, very nice. And as we can see, the DPS is around 20 some too. The DPS, as I might have mentioned, cannot be measured exactly as well as other weapons because these are like charging up weapons and they're spread out seconds. Now it can't be like damage dealt every single second. So the Fluorine bludgeon deals, as you can see, it also does this does a flurry of attacks. So this is a very useful club for the beginning of the game, as you can see. Now this should have a decent DPS. Yeah, it's 63. Very good. The golden great hammer is like the it's just like the wooden club and the Blasphemer, so it shouldn't do too much. But as you can see, as we first saw, there's like a decent amount of crits on it. So yeah, I would say it's pretty good. The Notabler, this should be pretty good. Alright, let's test this now. Boom. Very good. This is a great club to have for any meleeist. Let's see. Around 48 damage per second, also pretty good. Not as good as the Flora and Bludgeon, but still pretty good. Now we have the Platinum Scepter, which should be the same as the Great Hammer right here. This one is a little bit different though because it's you know, it has a little bit of the effect on it, or a modifier. So as you can see, a decent amount of damage. Yeah. 40 right now. Alright, we got our next set now. Let's see what the Unstable Ades can do. Alright, decent amount of damage. And like I said, these little particles fly out. Also, these weapons just tend to have a higher amount of critical strike chance, like 38. That's pretty good. And we have around 47 damage per second. Really good. Next, I would say we have the Spore Breaker. And this one, as I said, makes a little cloud of toxin. Now, I don't know if this tests the dummy as much. It does, yeah. So you can see there's like a poison effect. And this we have about 93 DPS, which is really good, considering what else we have. Time to test the Bone Club next. Let's see how this does. And as we can see, projectile is very good for multi you know, hits and stuff. As we can see, about 80 some DPS, pretty good. Next we have the Makukular, or whatever, however you say it. Now this lowers what's it called, armor penetration. So this has to be taken into account, but pretty good, 120 damage with a crit, nice. And finally we have the Blasphemer, which is a very good weapon. As we can see, like very high DPS with our 150, probably the best one yet. And as I said, this is all before hard mode. So right now, I would say clubs are an exclusive pre-hard mode subclass. But you can still look forward to more of it coming in the next updates. Next, we're gonna take a look up at the new summoning items that were added. We have a lot more of the summoning things. But first, we should probably show off the little new summoning things for the beginning of pre-hard mode and stuff, which include all of these things right here. Now it's a little hard to fit all in my inventory, so I'll just, you know, do it periodically. So first we have the Rose Crest. It's a damage, it's summoner weapon, but it is a summoner accessory as well. So if you put it here, as you can see, it's a little sword that just floats around you. Now this is a very unique mechanic. I haven't seen many different mods use an accessory as a weapon. You know, mainly Calamity and the ones who like to do have different cool stuff. And as you can see, it does a little bit of attacking when it spots an enemy. So it's pretty good. And next, after the Rogue's Crest, we have the Ethereal Butterfly Staff. And if we just use that, summon one, as you can see, a little butterfly shoots out and fights for you. It's like a Finch Staff, but you know, better, because it doesn't go back to your head at every point. So that's pretty cool. After that, we have a Jellyfish Staff, which is sort of similar to the Mango Jelly Staff in appearance, but in use is different since it shoots out a little ray or beam of light, which can be very useful. Next, we have this thing called the Nature's Grasp, which is also pretty unique, as this is like a whip in 1.4, except that it's a instead of a whip, it's just like, I think, a magical little item right here. Yes, so it's supposed to just have some summon damage and tag the monsters, just like the whips. So it's also pretty cool. I haven't seen many 1.3.5 mods do this either. I believe Calamity is the only one that has some similar stuff to 1.4. After this, we have the Sacrificial Dagger, which is a drop from the Occultist. They got rid of the Occultist Swarm Staff. You know, a little bit sad, but whatever. And they replaced it with this. And if you throw this does summon damage at enemies. As you can see, it sticks onto them. And makes a little glow. It's also tags the enemy and lets your summons go to it. Which is a pretty nice addition. We also have the Bismite Crystal Staff, which shoots out a little beam of Bismite at an enemy. So here we go. Pretty straightforward. Alright, next up, we have something called the Jinx Bow, which is like a little bow that sits on your shoulder and fires at enemies, which I think is a really cool addition. Anyways, next we have a Sumerian Scepter, which is similar. So you can just put it on like an accessory. And as we can see, it shoots out a little bolt of lightning whenever it attacks. It just does a lot of other attacks too, such as these little sparks. So yeah, that's a very interesting weapon as well. Next, we have something called the Arc Bolter. It's like the Nature's Wrath or whatever it's called. You know, that one I just had. And it does summon tag damage, and it's, as I said, more of an active summon weapon where you get to shoot the actual enemies and not just sit and wait for your summons to do stuff. We also have next the Lunazoa Staff, which summons a little jellyfish that homes onto your enemies, I believe. Anyways, next we have this thing called the Aching Heart, which is from these Bleeding Aura enemies, which are in the Underground Crimson. If we take that out, it's a little stationary heart that shoots out a little bolt of, I don't know what that is. Shoots blood. I guess that's blood. Next we have this thing called the Snap Spore Wand, and that summons little snap spores out to get your enemies. And just like the club, this is from the Snap Trapper, which, as I said before, spawns in the top of the jungle after you defeated the Eye of Cthulhu or the Jelly Deluge. I forget which one it is. But yeah, this is a pretty cool summon. Alright, now for the next items. Before we get to the cool stuff, we have a bit of more cool things. First, we have this spell, Swords Cast, and that is the upgrade to the Rogue's Cast, I believe, when you get in the hard mode. It summons out a little knife guy who does a constant attack damage like that. So that's a pretty cool addition. Next, we have this thing called the Mana Silk Scarf, which is another part of the Mana Silk armor. Now, I believe the Mana Silk hood gives you 1 defense and 1 extra minion, while the scarf gives you 1 extra defense and 1 number of sentries. So if you want to do sentries instead of minions, then that's a cool option. And finally, we have a Strike Shield, which is an upgrade to like the basic leather shield that you might know in the beginning of the game. Now, this gives you 1 defense. When enemies are striking you, they damage them slightly. Being struck by enemies also causes minions to target them, so kind of like another active summoner tag weapon. And it does 3 summon tag damage when this does this, and it has a 4-second duration. Now we get into the real interesting part of the summoner upgrade, as we now get to look at the 6 arcane codexes, which are little nice tools to help summoners get along. Now we have the healing codex, we have the low gravity codex, the repulsion codex, the stamina codex, the fortification codex, and the slow codex. Now each of these has their own use, such as slow zone. The slow zone reduces enemy movement speed. The healing zone it increases your life regen when you're in it. The low gravity zone decreases the player's gravity and aerial acceleration when you're in it. The repulsion zone repulses nearby enemies away in its zone. The stamina zone lets you go faster with greater speed and agility, and the fortification zone increases the player's defense and damage resistance while standing in it. Now, each of these effects also last about 2 seconds while they're in their respective zones, and as we can see, if we summon them, they create a nice little effect of, or something like that similar. And you could put up only about one at a time depending on your armor. For instance, if we put this up and we go inside it, boom, healing zone has been activated. It remains constant if you're in the zone, but if you're out of the zone, it does disappear after around 2 seconds, as you can see. The low gravity zone, as you can see, reduces the player's gravity and stuff, which is pretty cool. The repulsion zone shoots out enemies. So as we see, if we go closer, as you can see, it pushed away the armor guy, so that's pretty cool. The stamina zone increases the speed, like we said, boom, so as you can see, going through it. The fortification zone increases defense from 69 to 75. And the slow zone slows down enemies, which is all pretty cool. Now, if you have, I'd say, about 6 sentry slots, then you can have 6 of these zones, all of them at once available. Personally, I can see the healing, the fortification, and the stamina zone as being some of the best. But the other ones do have some quirky and pretty cool uses, though. So, really cool in my opinion. Will they add more? Hopefully so. I really want to see a hard mode variant of these, because I think that'd be really cool to mess around with. Anyways, now that we're done with that, we get to go on to the meat and potatoes of this update. So, as I said before, there's an event in the called the Jelly Deluge, as we can see right here, and it's a little bit after the Eye of Cthulhu. And basically, this event happens when you're at the top of the world randomly, or it can happen if you use a distress jelly, which are found in asteroid field biomes. So as you can see, it says distress jelly, consumable, needs help, summons the Jelly Deluge. And I believe this can only happen at nighttime, so as we can change it to nighttime. And I believe you have to summon it in the asteroid field biome. Here we go. Strange jellyfish are pouring out of the sky. And as we can see in the air, there's little jellyfish in the background, which I think looks really cool. There we go. There is a tiny Lizulo. I don't know how to say it. There's also these guys called Tetherovolt jellies, and they have little guys at the end. And if you kill these guys, I believe they summon their whole horde after you. Oh no, they just go away. And as you can see, when you get these little jellyfish, they just don't despawn, but they head towards you after that and turn into like a bolt of lightning or something. Pretty cool. We have Moonlight Ruptures, which are just bigger versions of those guys. Moonlight Preservers, which I believe have these little guys in it and pop them out when you kill them. Yep, and then they all go for you. These guys can be in a lot of different sizes too. There's a chance that a little floaty guy will be spawning, and he'll be like glowing, and not like these guys. These guys, you can see they're kind of glowing, but the guys I'm describing, they're like kind of like that glowing right before you get them. As you can see, example A. And if we catch these guys, oh, okay, no, he was killed. If you catch them with a bug net, you get something called a Dreamlight Jelly. And Dreamlight Jelly is used to summon the Moon Jelly Wizard. Now, you can summon it during this event or just at night in general, but it, as I said, only summons at night. So you gotta be a little bit wary of that. But honestly, this event, for the stage it's in, I think it's pretty balanced. Personally, I'm at endgame right now, so I'm absolutely destroying this stuff. So I can't really give it a fair judgment, but from what I've seen, I consider it a pretty high score, I would say. Anyways, moving on to the boss fight now. Alrighty, guys, so we're back again. Now, as I said, took off the helmet and the I turned off the cracked crown, just because those would kind of ruin this whole boss fight, even though I don't really have a weapon that is useful for this. But let's summon him right now. Alright, as you can see, around 2,560 health in expert mode. And as you can see, pretty cool looking. He has a multitude of different attacks, such as these spitting out ball projectiles. He also moves around with little lightning particles. He summons these little jellyfish around, which are pretty cool. And he does like a little kind of Tesla coil thing where he makes a little ball and then teleports somewhere else, creating an electric path between it. He also does it with these too, which is a pretty cool thing. So as we see, easy to take down for us. Now, does he have a second stage? I don't know. Let's see. Oh, as we can see, he does a little bit of a. Oh, he does have a little bit of a second stage with his summoning these guys. Oh. He also has a bit of bullet hell and stuff too. But yeah, if you want to experience that fight in full, I would say do it yourself, definitely. I'm a little bit overpowered, so I can't really give a good representation. But from the treasure bag, we get multiple things. Now, I have them all in this chest, so I'll just show them off here. Boom. We have the Cornucopian, which is a horn that when you charge up and strikes down lightning on something, Unfortunately, I can't really see it from my perspective, which kind of sucks. We have the Jelly Knots Bubble. It is a accessory. It gives you 1 defense, increases your max mana by 20, your critical strike by 4, and provides a special set bonus with any magic robes, which is a very interesting thing. I won't get into that since I don't think it's necessary for this showcase, but it's pretty cool. Now we have a Moonshot right here. I don't know exactly what this uses as ammo, but seems pretty cool. I'll figure that out in a minute. And we have a Moonburst, which is a nice little yo-yo you can get from this guy. Now, if we use this, it's someone's little bubbles that explode, I believe. Yeah, there we go. Does a little bit more damage. Very unique effect. And like I said, this little Dreamlight Jelly catch, it is a non-consumable summon, so you can summon as much as you want. I have the Moon Jelly's mask as well, which is a nice little vanity. And I have the Moon Jelly Wizard trophy too, which, if we place it down, has a little head on it, which is pretty cool. We also have a bit more things, such as the lore they added. Now, I'm a big sucker for lore, but it goes even a step further. Like, sure, at first, like, we have these little books here, and if we open them up, we get these little pages. And I don't want to show you too much, but as you can see, it shows the new wooden clubs and the frigid javelin. Pretty cool, pretty cool. And this Notes on the Briar does a similar thing, but it's like a little notebook of kind of stuff in there, including the Flora and stuff. But really takes the cake for this is one of these things, Flora of the Briar. Now, I don't know if there's multiple of these different kind of page-looking things, but this is really cool. As you can see right now, it has like a custom illustration of the Flora of the Briar. As you can see, very well done. It even has like the unintelligible cursive writing, which I also do that. We can see that, you know, they have the weird looking trees with the eyes in the tree and the skulls and stuff. And we even have the little cave with the little caverns in the where you go fight the Vine Wrath Bane. And honestly, I've never seen a mod do an illustration that perfect. So honestly, like that puts this update a lot up higher. And speaking of this update, a few more things, such as like changes and more additions, but I don't think that really matters for the video. So you guys can go look that up at the wiki if you want to. I'll have a link to that in the description, as there's a lot of stuff there. But anyways, personally, this update to me really describes what a little update in a mod should do. It should add lots of cool content, add content to where things are lacking, such as the summoner, what they did. Add a new kind of aspect in, such as what they did with the club sub-weapons. And they even added a whole new event and boss, which is really, really cool to me. So personally, I would rate this update, if I had a rating for it, a 10 out of 10. As I just think it's just a perfect update like this. And if the Spirit Mod continues with these little nice updates, I'll be very pleased. Make sure to, if you liked the video, to comment, subscribe, like, you know, hit the bell, do all that sort of stuff. My name is Just the Joe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.